So I know I'm a little bit late to the party, but I think it's about time that I finally touch on the insane insanity that is Pokemon Go. Also, first, before we get into that, I need to say that I'm sorry for not being able to upload a lot of videos this week. It's just a busy week. I actually have an out-of-friend town from back home in Denver who's staying with us right now. Basically, my best friend is crashing with us for a week, and it's been really excellent, but a lot of her stuff is also in my recording room, so it makes it, A, hard for me to have time to record because I'm spending time with my best friend when I'm not working, and B, I have a lot of her stuff kind of in my room that you used to see me record in when I do the vlog video format, so it just wouldn't even make for a pretty background, and cleaning it up would be a mess. So luckily this is a day where it sort of worked out for me to make just a regular audio only video, which I've been doing a lot of this last couple weeks anyway. So I was really excited to have a little bit of time, a small chunk of time, to get a quick video out for you guys and discuss what's going on. Now, what's going on is, of course, the revelation to the world that Pokemon Go is apparently the coolest thing ever. And it's a really exciting time because this is Nintendo's, not their first initiative, because we know Miitomo came out a couple of months ago, and for that first week was a very big deal. Apparently made them a lot of money right out the gate, and everyone thought it was really cool and fun, but the hype of that has kind of died off, and now I don't even know what's going on. And as you know, I actually never even downloaded Miitomo. I'm not interested in downloading Miitomo pretty much ever. Maybe when they more fully detail what's going on with the My Nintendo, and we understand how My Nintendo also is integrated with the NX going forward, but that's all that information is many, many months off. So right now, Miitomo has no interest to me. Pokemon Go, I mean, what is there to be said about Pokemon Go that hasn't already been said? It's been out for like a week or a week and a half now, and it's insane. Everyone is playing it. It's taken over the world. It's taken over social media. It's taken over everyone's free time. It's taken over everyone's work time. I mean, I work in a really professional corporate job, and everyone has been playing and talking about this game. My girlfriend is playing it. I am the weird outlier. I have not downloaded it, and I think I have finally decided that I will download it and check it out because so many of my friends, so many of my coworkers, my girlfriend, like I said, everyone is playing it. I've seen what it is. I think it's super cool for what's going on. I'm going to have to make a whole separate video talking about my thoughts on Pokemon Go, honestly, because otherwise I'll just keep going and make this video about that. And that's really not what I want to talk about. Bottom line is Pokemon Go has been so successful and broken so many records and has made so much money for Nintendo right out the gate, and it's projected to continue to make crazy amounts of money for them, as well as the fact that, honestly, it's just popular. People also like it. It's like not just that everyone's getting into it and trying it like they did with Miitomo. It's like people love this thing. It's a big deal. And through that, I have to say, that's great. I'm really happy for Nintendo. This is the kind of thing I think that we all think that they needed. It's really interesting to see what they were able to do with the mobile market once they finally dove in. Again, that's probably another video I could make, how when Nintendo does something, even if they're way behind, man, do they do it better than anyone else. But with the success of this, a conversation has started over the past week, I'd say, since pretty much the game came out, and I'm not quite sure where it started from, but people have been talking about whether or not Pokemon Go is a fine example of why Nintendo should probably just go third party. Okay, so first, this whole idea, I have to say, I see why some people are saying it. I can't say that there isn't an argument to be had for that side. I feel like there is a case to be made for, wow, when Nintendo puts out something that is so revolutionary like a Pokemon Go, and it was not on a Nintendo console, look at how successful it is, look at how much money it's made, and look at how much people love it. And you can argue because Nintendo's hardware, at least this generation, has sold so few units that it's becoming harder for Nintendo to get their product into people's hands. I get that. You know, there's 500 million cell phones out there, so that's 500 million people that have access to Pokemon Go, to Nintendo's app, to anyone's app or game that they put out. Okay, I get it. The numbers definitely work in someone's favor. And if you look at them putting out something as awesome as a Pokemon Go on a Wii U, okay, there's only 13 million Wii U's used there. That's like, it's like what, I don't know, 0.5%, I'm not going to do the math, but that's like probably less than 1% of 500 million people. So you're reducing your market drastically and making it harder for people to access, play, and buy your game and your product. And in a simple, when you just break it down to the simple math of the scenario, that is definitely true. But you know what? That's true for everybody. That's true for Microsoft or Sony's games. That's true for, I don't know, like Square's Final Fantasy games. Like Final Fantasy 15 is only going to release on 3 platforms. And that's only, probably, what would you say, 40, 20? Like, let's say 100 million between PCs, Xbox One, and PS4. There's 100 million users right there. Well, why wouldn't they put that on cell phones as well? Because that's another 500 million users. It's one of those things where the math makes sense. Okay, put your material and your products on the cell phones because more people are going to be able to reach it. But it kind of removes the essence of what a company is, especially when it's like a video game company, and especially when that company happens to be Nintendo, because Nintendo is a little bit more of a unique case within the industry, and we all know that. They've been around the longest. They're the ones that try the different ideas. They're the ones that, even when they're not popular, still garner the most attention. Whether they make good or bad decisions, more people are paying attention to what they're doing than the other guys. They have that magnetic attraction. And with their hardware, they tend to, more often than not, try kooky ideas that the other guys don't really do. And so that makes them kind of unique. They sort of exist in their own realm. So like I said, okay, I get it. If Nintendo put their stuff on third-party machines like PlayStation and Xbox, as evidenced by Pokemon Go, a product being put on mobile phones, which is a different world, to be fair, but because they did that, they saw so much success. Okay, if they start putting Zelda and Mario and Metroid and Animal Crossing and Pokemon on PlayStation and Xbox, and they stopped making hardware going forward, would that be better for Nintendo, and would that be better for gaming? And again, I see the argument, as I just explained. I've seen some people, complete strangers, talking about this and saying they should do it. I've seen a couple people who I actually really know and like, people who I trust and who I consider my friends online, also saying the same thing. And yes, I see that argument, but to tell you the truth, guys, call me a Nintendo fanboy if you want. That's fine. Absolutely not. Should that ever happen, I think that is an insane idea. Now, it's not an impossible idea. As I talked about before, I made a video on if the NX happened to fail miserably, what would Nintendo do? And does that start to open up a real avenue where we may see in the true-to-life world a situation where Nintendo might go third-party? So could it happen at some point down the road if Nintendo continues to struggle for several years and generations going down the road? Yeah, I do think it may somehow happen. A lot of crazy twists and turns of fate would have to make it happen, but honestly, I can't rule it out. However, in the right now, I absolutely don't think that's going to happen, and beyond whether or not it could happen, I just don't think it should. Yes, I don't want it to happen. That is true. Part of it is I'm a Nintendo fan. I love their hardware and their games. I love Nintendo just the way they are. So yes, they make mistakes, but I still love who they are. So I don't want that to happen. But also, I don't think it should, because Nintendo, yes, their software is the number one thing they do. That's the thing that they do best. That's the thing that sells well, even on hardware that doesn't sell well, as evidenced by Super Mario 3D World and Mario Kart and Smash Brothers and Hyrule Warriors and all these different things. Yes, they can sell crazy amounts of software on low-selling hardware. That's a very big deal. But beyond just having great software that I agree would sell insanely well on the PlayStations and Xboxes of the world, they are a hardware manufacturer. They've always said the day that we stop making hardware is the day we leave the video game industry. Now, I don't 100% believe that, but I do believe their conviction when they say it. I think that if their hand was forced and they had to maybe become third party in 10 or 15 years, I think that they would consider doing it without actually leaving the video game industry. But when they say that now and today, I do still believe that they mean it, or if anything, the principle and the strength and confidence behind that statement of we believe us to be hardware manufacturers, I think that that's there, and I think that carries some real weight. They want to be hardware manufacturers, and if that's what your passion is, even if you don't always succeed, you have to stick with it, because you will always be the best and truest form of yourself. Even if you're a video game company, for example, you will be the best and truest form of yourself if you're doing what you believe in. If you're fighting through the bad times and you're fighting through the struggles and you're looking inwardly and you're trying to figure out how do we continue to do what we love and what we believe in, and do it well, do it better, do it well enough to be successful enough to continue doing it so we don't have to go out of business or that we don't have to become a third party. The fact that they seem to believe it is so important, you guys. I just think that's one of the main reasons why that could and should never happen. Now, the mobile market, of course, is different. I mean, they're now openly investing in a mobile market, and they're being very smart about it on based on what they're saying. Now, this may not prove true forever, but right now they're trying to draw a line. Our mobile stuff is only for mobile, and our regular gaming stuff is for regular gaming only, and they're not trying to merge those. I kind of believe that down the road they may end up merging those, and yes, that makes me very, very nervous because I don't think that I want that. But as it stands right now, they made a game, Pokemon Go for mobile, and it's just a mobile game, and it's doing fantastically well, and Nintendo makes a lot more money, so hopefully that keeps them afloat, keeps them around for even longer, and hopefully that money will hopefully filter back into even what they're doing on the regular gaming side, and I think that's great. So I see the case again being made for Pokemon Go, saying Nintendo should put their stuff on other people's consoles and just become a third-party developer, but it just doesn't make sense based on one game that's a mobile game. It's not even like they made one game that was on the PlayStation. They made one game on a cell phones and tablets. It's so different. It's such a different world than what's happening in like true console and handheld gaming. It's just very, very different. And the other reason why I think Nintendo never should do this is part of what Nintendo also believes in is true hardware innovation. Now, not more power and better graphics. That's a different kind of innovation and a different kind of progression that I do think is important. But Nintendo, as you all know, they're trying different things. They're the ones trying the Virtual Boy. They're the ones trying virtual reality 20 years before someone decided that they could make it important again. They're the ones figuring out motion gaming and finding a way to make it work and make it successful. They're the ones trying to do this touchscreen, camera-centric, gyro-sensing gameplay that doesn't work for everybody, but hey, they tried it. They're the ones who probably has some weird idea for the NX that we know, and for all we know, it's going to be amazing. And they're the ones trying to do that. I like Sony and Microsoft so much, you guys. You know that I do. But they don't do special things. They just make the same versions of their consoles only a little bit more powerful, and they change the OS a little bit. And that's fine. Again, I love my PlayStation and Xbox, so it's like, okay, the regular cardboard cut and paste gaming that I do still enjoy, I'm going to get that from the other two guys. But my unique, special, always progressive gaming experiences with my favorite franchises, that's what I get from Nintendo. And Nintendo probably knows that, and if they're not making hardware that can support their new ideas as they have them, that also, you can't forget, also changes gaming and pushes it forward and disrupts what we're doing. Even when it fails, it's still disruptive in, I think, a positive way. As long as I'm getting that from Nintendo and as long as they're doing that, then they're going to be around making hardware, and they should be. Nintendo isn't just a software developer. They're like an idea factory. They need to have new ideas. They need to have a way to get those out, and that's what they do with the 3DSs and the Wii U's and the Wii's and the NXs of the world and the Virtual Boys. Like, you guys have to remember, the Virtual Boy is such an important part of gaming history, not because it was a big hit, because obviously it wasn't. In fact, the bigger piece of news is that it was a huge failure, but it showed so much about Nintendo and what they were trying to do at that time, what the weird place gaming was in the early and mid 90s. Even though it was my favorite time in gaming, it was a weird place. It was in its infancy, trying to figure out what it was going to become. And the fact that it could fail, but Nintendo could stay afloat, but it showed that they had quirky ideas they wanted to work on. There's a lot of very interesting, important, and good things that came out of the Virtual Boy and its failure at that time, so we can't forget that. That's why I include it in the conversation of why Nintendo's a great company. Literally, the Virtual Boy is part of what makes Nintendo's great. It seems backwards, I know, but I firmly, it's just a belief and a philosophy that I have, and I think it's important to remember it that way. So Nintendo can't go without making their own hardware and their own unique controllers and innovative ways for gamers to interact with gaming. They're going to keep trying, and sometimes they're going to fail, and sometimes they're going to knock it out of the park. They're coming off of a failure right now, so I'm hoping that they're going to knock it out of the park this next time. And Pokemon Go, I know it's great, and I know it's made money, and I know it shows the mobile market is ripe for the picking for Nintendo and other maybe real gaming companies. But right now, I think Nintendo is dedicated to keeping that separate, letting themselves find new ways to be successful in the mobile market and make more money, and continuing their traditional hardware and console gaming and handheld gaming. I think that they believe in that. The Nintendo may be some interesting insight into this whole concept. Maybe it shows that they are trying to do something weird there and merge their whole mobile and console stuff. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. I think it's going to be a console. Maybe there's a handheld version. Who even knows? I don't want to go into NX territory. Bottom line is, no way do I think Nintendo should and ever will go third party. And that's a good thing, you guys. We should be happy for that. We should want that. Gaming is better because Nintendo is out there not only making their games, but making cool hardware and trying new ideas that the other guys are probably just too afraid to do. So that's what's going on there. I really wanted to get this idea out there because I saw this conversation happening, and I appreciated that there is a small case and an argument to be had there. So I wanted to discuss it, and you know my thoughts. I just don't think that it should happen, and hopefully Nintendo believes that long enough to stay a hardware manufacturer for pretty much until the end of time, for as long as video gaming is relevant. That would definitely make me happy. So tell me what you guys think about this. If you've seen this conversation happening on the internet, do you believe in it? Do you think that Nintendo should go third party because Pokemon Go was such a hit? Or do you feel like they should continue making their own hardware and that their hardware isn't a paywall for their games like some people are trying to say? And that Nintendo should keep doing the great things that they've been doing. Tell me what you guys think below. Thank you so much for waiting for me to be able to make some more videos. By next week, I should be on regular rotation, making videos on a regular basis. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks as always for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Royalty Review, and I'll catch you guys next time on another video.